4, 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Another episode live with Wolfman. It's happening. Today we're talking about kung fu or wushu, soft style. You know, that stuff. We're going to get into the nuances of the language. But today I got an awesome guest with me. He performs in Cirque Du Soleil. Well, he performed in Cirque du Soleil. He is now recently, brand new news, he's been upgraded to coach on Cirque du Soleil, so that's pretty sweet. Philip Sahagun. Philip, how do you say your name? How do you pronounce Sahagun? Yeah, I probably should have made sure I got that before I went live and embarrassed myself, but we're going to get the show started soon, so you guys know the drill. If you're tuning in, say hi, drop some floating thumbs ups, hit the share button. Let's share it. Share it in your favorite kung fu group. Share it on Century's Facebook page. Share it in a hyper page. Share it with your mom. I want to see who's here today. All right. I'm getting things situated here. I want to be able to see your guys' comments as they happen. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. If I can't... Is my Wi-Fi not working? So today we're talking about Kung Fu. Stay tuned. Show starts. You see the timer? That's when the show officially starts. I'm just doing my thing back here, and I'm waiting for you guys to help me grow the show. You got to hit share. Give me some floating hearts if you can hear the music. Give me some sad faces if you can't hear the music. I can hear it. Philip, you can't hear it. Sorry. But it's getting me in the mood. All right, let's see. Oh, come on. All right. My iPad is down today. We're going to have to go on my other thing here, my phone. 2 minutes till the show starts. Kung Fu. I'm excited for today. I'm going to ask all kinds of... So this is going to be the only show where I... What is going on here? This is the only show where I have no idea what I'm talking about. This is going to rely on a guest to be able to make this show educational, because usually I only talk about things that I actually know about. However, this is something I'm interested in, and I'm just let's be real, I'm clueless about this stuff. So excuse my ignorance before, during, and after the show. What up, Scott? What up, Tarek? What up, Chrissy, Lacey, Monica? All right, guys, we're going to get the show started in a little bit. I need more people tuned in, so hit share. Today is awesome. I have a real professional. So if you're trying to figure out what you can do in martial arts, I'm going to bring on somebody that has found a way to make martial arts not only like his way of life, but it's his way of income. It's just like... It's his. I mean, how else can I describe it? I'm super inspired. Anybody that can get to this level in life, to be able to perform in Cirque du Soleil is probably one of the highest achievements for a martial artist that is also a performer. Unless you're like Jackie Chan, I don't know. He's pretty high up on the totem pole. Yeah. You guys ready to rock? Oh, I can't start yet. I got 38 seconds left. I'm so impatient. No, I've seen links about it, but we should watch it. It's on YouTube. All right, well, let's see what Jackie Chan says. But first, let's start the show. All right, guys, hold on. We're going to start the show officially. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Oh, I gotta learn how to do this. And what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Live with Wolfman. I'm your host, Jacob Wolfman, and this is a show where we talk about all the things that I'm interested in and all the things that you're interested in. Sometimes we talk about media like photography and videography, and a lot of times we end up talking about martial arts. And that is what we're doing today. Today we're talking about kung fu or wushu or soft style or tai chi or insert your Chinese version of martial arts here. I have another guest. This is episode 21, so we are now legally able to drink on the show. Yeah. Cheers, everybody. And yeah, I'm excited. And you can probably hear him in the background. That's Philip. I haven't actually brought him live on the show, so you're just like, who's this other voice? But our second ever guest is Philip. So let me get him on the screen for everybody, and we will introduce him. Everybody, give it up for Philip. Woo! Drop the floating hearts. Yeah. Philip, how you doing today? Awesome. Cool. So just so we can kind of like educate the people, can you as quickly as you can, just tell people a little bit about who you are? Awesome. I know Philip through Hyper. We a few years ago we teamed up with Philip, and he assembled his crew to join us, and we created a program called Hyper Kung Fu. And that was, oh man, I'm sorry guys. That's the second time this has happened on the show. Philip means you got to say it all over again. Hold on. We're gonna get you started. Mic check 1 2. Can everybody hear Philip? Philip, say something.
Hello.
Oh man, someday I'm gonna get this show to work properly, where it's just like works like a real show. But yeah, I gotta fire my producer. Dang, that sucks. Philip, now that you had a practice run,
Johnny O, can you hear me?
can you hear? Drop some noise if you can hear.
Tiger Claw.
Everyone's like, no sound. That's because I'm
Ron
dumb.
T says you can hear me now. So we'll restart it. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Philip, tell the people who you are.
All right, guys. My name is Philip Sahagun. I'm formerly from Orange County, Southern California. My father had a large martial arts school. My whole family had a large martial arts school for over 20 years, 15,000 square feet in a big old warehouse, and that's where I got my training done. I'm the third generation of martial artists in my family, and about 16 years old, I started training in Chinese wushu martial arts. Prior to that, a lot of boxing, kempo karate, kickboxing, and started with wushu. And then about 17, I was sent to China to study traditional Shaolin Temple martial arts. Since I've started doing the Chinese martial arts and getting to that community, I've done some work in China, 3 TV shows, some under Jackie Chan, Shenzhen TV, Shaolin Temple. I toured with the legend Tina Turner. Got to be in about 20 countries teaching and sharing martial arts. Currently, I'm a 3-year athlete for Cirque Du Soleil, and we start coaching very soon for the company. So really excited about that position. Really excited to continue to push forward with Chinese martial arts and martial arts in general as a career.
Awesome. Thank you for explaining yourself again. I know that's
all good.
Oh,
I'm like, studying.
You got I think that second time sounded even better. So
that.
I want to show you guys. I'm just gonna like peek through your Instagram channel, and everybody's gonna take a peek because I want to show a little bit about Cirque. because I don't think everybody tuned in knows what Cirque du Soleil is. I think almost everybody does.
Right.
But Cirque du Soleil is basically, you can correct me and fill in the blanks here, but it's basically the most powerful, biggest circus, like modern day circus, out there. And there's several different versions of it. They all happen primarily in Las Vegas. I think there's a tour version as well. And it to be in the program, you have to be a very specialized, high level athlete with a really unique skill set. Do you want to like talk a little bit more about what Cirque is? I'm gonna just play some clips on your Instagram feed while you talk. That's
Catch
cool.
around some stuff, sure. All right. Well, Cirque du Soleil is, yes, the world's largest entertainment and performance company. It was founded in Montreal, Canada by Guy Liberté. And right now we're looking at a little clip of a backstage rehearsal between Wushu Wes and myself. And that's for the show Humanity at New York, New York. Cirque du Soleil has now grown to be the largest valued performance company with touring shows all over the world and resident shows in multiple regions. And most of them being in Las Vegas here. So my Cirque du Soleil journey began in about 2006. When I was 19 years old, they had a scout sent to one of the larger open martial art competitions in Southern California, and they scouted me to get me interested to join the show Ka, which is currently at the MGM Grand. And from there, I kept a good contact with them, but I wasn't ready to join Cirque. I wanted to do, my own life and help my family at their school. Past that, and went on to do a lot of other cool stuff. But then 3 years ago, getting offered the chance to go to Humanity, I really wanted to take this chance. So it's been amazing. There's amazing athletes from all over the world. I don't even know how many countries they have, but they have people from like Azerbaijan, Ukraine, Russia, all top levels. So I'm really honored to be there. And maybe you could check that one with Sebastian and me jumping in the blue mats. You see that one?
Oh, this one here?
Yeah, that's a good one. So in the show, we do a lot of fight scenes. So we do weapons and empty-hand combat. So it's not just a lot of solo. We're doing a lot of things choreographed with each other. And we got to learn how to work together. So the skill set is really diverse. You have to do a little bit of acting on stage, as well as just have various unique skill sets. They don't just want to see one form. They want to see different styles, different weapons, different routines. And in the Cirque world, martial arts is still relatively new. So they're getting used to seeing all the different types that there are.
Yeah,
pretty fun.
And that's something I wanted to kind of dig into, is like all the different styles, particularly like from the kung fu side of things. That's my best attempt at a segue. But
okay.
But also, I wanted to point out, Philip also, not only is he a great performer, but he found his wife in Cirque, which is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I got to meet his wife very briefly once at an airport passing by, but she's a super amazingly talented acrobat. What would you call her?
Well, she is a contortionist.
Contortionist, that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah.
20 years in the company doing contortion. Over 20 years, she would say, hey, 23, 24. And she was selected at 9 years old from Mongolia, and she toured the world for 12 years from the age of 9, performing contortion. So she's got quite a history. Makes me look bad because she's got so much talent. She got so much talent.
No, it makes everyone else look bad. The two of them together. Cool. So today our focus on the show, we are talking about kung fu. So the first thing I wanted to just kind of like have you break down with me is talk about like what does kung fu mean versus wushu, versus soft style. And I know like that if you can just give like a simplified answer here, because it does get pretty nuanced, that would be a good start for the show, because a lot of people are still kind of like, I know the words, but I don't know what they mean.
Right. Okay. So for me, and I'm going to say for me because everyone has their own kind of like a way to say what is Kung Fu, what is Wushu. But just as a generalized description, Wushu used to be just meaning martial arts or martial skills, techniques. This was the martial arts of China. So it's Mandarin for martial arts. That's all it means. Gong Fu doesn't necessarily mean martial arts in the fighting sense or in the old school battlefield sense. Kung Fu just means it's a skill developed over time that can be martial. It could be not martial. So the generalized thought if you're a good chef and you put a lot of work and time into that skill, you also have good kung fu. You're like a sifu for cooking. Wushu itself now has evolved to a sport. So now we have two factions, traditional wushu and modern wushu, which in the open martial arts circuit and generally what people are watching on YouTube with the jumping and twisting, that is sport wushu.
Mm-hmm. So today I want to bring out, I think we're going to talk more about the sport element because a lot of the people that watch this show compete in the tournaments like NASCAR or NBL or ATA. ATA has absolutely no kung fu or anything similar, but they're just strictly taekwondo. But I think we're going to focus more on the sport element of it, but we are going to contrast the sport side versus the martial, historical, cultural side, because I do think that's an important distinction. And before the show started, you and I were kind of chatting about that a little bit, because kung fu, or the stuff you see in tournaments today, isn't necessarily the exact same as what, the martial art represented from years ago. I'm on the right track here?
Any question would be the right track. So I'm going to say that,
Philip's
of course,
deep,
the martial arts has evolved, of course, right? And
sure.
Now that judges and competitors and even the social style of people has changed, martial arts has changed. It's no secret that we're not going to go down the street and take our bow or our sais to protect ourselves anymore. So now it has to create a new purpose, and there's definitely two strong factions, right? The traditional, it has to be done like as close as it was to hundreds of years ago, and then the more modern side who says, okay, how can we evolve this to survive today and also make it something enjoyable to practice and to watch? So with that being said, of course today's martial arts is a bit different, especially in the realm of kung fu and wushu. It's just changed tremendously over the years.
Yeah, and I think you'll find that not just in the Chinese style martial arts, but you'll find that in tons of martial arts styles. I mean, karate is the same thing. From the ancient traditional karate, now we have tricking, which is like a night and day difference of what the two are, but the origin, the track there is different. And so we're going to see a lot of that in competition today, right. Which leads me into, I'm going to start showing off some forms. And so, I just want to get kind of, want to kind of like, we could keep talking about Kung Fu. We could keep talking about like the differences between like how it's used in competition today versus kind of
Go ahead. I like to bring up a subject that in the competition sense, I was talking with a lot of the older generation of wushu practitioners and also those who were there to see the sport karate really change and develop over the years and what kind of helped kick that off. Because you mentioned karate into tricking. As my understanding is of course we're all competing, especially in open competition. You have the taekwondo, great high kicks, mixed with the traditional karate. And basically the flashier techniques, as you know, slowly start to get more points. And yes. Because we're fighting to get the medals, to get the trophies, they started to say, okay, how can I borrow this technique from this style and bring it over?
Yes.
So a good friend of mine, Rick Jacobs, who's from the Midwest, who used to compete in the early days of sport karate, he used to get like zeros when you go to competition because they basically like, why are you showing up in your pajamas, silk pajamas, swinging a chain or a sword around? And the traditional stylist had no idea what they were looking at. So he would frequently literally get zeros held up.
Wow.
And he was part of a group that eventually started bringing over professional wushu athletes from China. The first generation Beijing wushu team, not first generation, maybe second or third generation, started to come over. And then for fun, they started to throw them into the sport karate circuits, saying like, hey, let's show the art, because it was a cultural reimbursement type thing. Like, come to America and show off Chinese martial arts, and you guys will all get free tickets. So they looked for different things to do, and one of them was, hey, let's do some sport karate tournaments.
Yeah.
So this is how it evolved and kind of like influenced each other. Back then, maybe they were doing 540, tornado kicks, which eventually became like side swipe from Steve. And people were watching that on the wushu side and going, this was interesting. But then wushu would bring out butterfly and butterfly twist.
Sure.
Then all their unique skill sets and eventually just continue to mix. But what I heard was even the 540 like taekwondo style and the jump outside crescent kick, like, the pop jump outside, wushu eventually took that and modified some of their jumping techniques to even create kind of like sport karate inspired techniques, and also sport karate, of course, was inspired by wushu.
Interesting.
A butterfly twist, and then where all the twisting variations came from, butterfly twist, roundhouse kick, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so
that's interesting.
It's interesting to see.
Yeah, because I mean, I come from like a more taekwondo, karate background, so that's my like life perspective on things. And yeah, I see things like karate took elements from kung fu, wushu. That's why we have the butterfly twist. That's why there's then we took stuff from capoeira. That's why we have a corkscrew, and that's why we have a double leg. But you're telling me that on the other side of the coin, they're doing the same thing. They're seeing what the karate guys are doing, and they're taking the 540 and making their own variant. And I've seen traditional, or like not traditional, I don't know what you call it. I've seen kung fu athletes, wushu athletes, do 540s in their routines, and I always thought like, oh, it's just a coincidence. But you're telling me that it's not really coincidence. They're taking that from other styles.
So 540 tornado kick existed, which is the 540 like a Shunfanjiao. But jump outside kick, how they're doing it now, where they have 2 feet on the ground, they jump and they turn and kick. That was supposedly, because I wasn't there, a sport karate inspired technique that now is an actual requirement in wushu.
Wow!
So they completely cut out the old way to do jump outside crescent kick, and they modified it with this new style, which I can never do. That was a really hard trick for me. But all
right. So let's get it. Let's show the people some forms.
Sure. Let's watch.
Now you gave me a list of stuff to watch, and people submitted some of their stuff.
Let's watch people's videos. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to first of all, I wanted to show He Jing Di. I wanted to start the show strong.
Duh.
Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Ha Jing Da. Well,
Jing Di He.
Okay. If that's not how it's spelled. Okay.
I know. I get you.
All right. So I've brought him up on the show before because I only saw him compete at one tournament. It was 2003 Compete Nationals. And basically, he went to this tournament. He competed in nearly every division, and I think he won. I think DX might have beat him in one division, but otherwise he won everything. He just took home a bunch of first place trophies, and then he never went back, and like he just disappeared. And he just made such an impact, and I still remember I wasn't even at the tournament. I just saw the videos afterwards. I was like, what am I missing? Like this guy like came out of nowhere, super talented athlete, and yeah. Can you? I mean, you know this guy, right? You've met him before. Is that correct?
I met him and worked with him 2 times in Jackie Chan's Descendants of the Dragon show, and also for America's Got Talent.
Awesome. So tell me the story. Like, who is this guy?
So He Jing Di, he's obviously an athlete from China. He trained with the Beijing Wushu team, but he got scouted. He trained with his local provincial team, and then he got pushed to the Beijing team to learn under Jet Li's master. So Wu Bin was a famous figure in the martial arts circle. And well, let's watch this real fast. Give him some respect.
Look at that height.
Yeah, look at it. Beautiful, huh?
Oh my gosh.
This video is one of the early Beijing Wushu tours. They came in the 90s, but also 2002 he came back. So this was prior to his compete, which was 2003. And you see that when they give him a lot of room, he uses it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And that's a huge distinction too between karate and the soft style. Is like soft style, kung fu. You guys like you run.
Yeah. Well, if we have the space, we're gonna take it.
Yeah.
The historical kind of like component of that, even though it's changed a lot, is that if you're on a battlefield, it's better to move than to stay still.
Makes total sense to me. Awesome. So for the people at home, I'm going to play one more video of him. I'm going to play the one I was referencing from Compete Nationals.
That's a big deal. I remember watching that video. I was like, oh my God, I have to do this stuff.
Yeah. So I'm going to play this one.
And Chen, okay. Kim Do right there with the glasses.
Yep. Bam!
Boom, all day. He can still do that stuff now. He's in his mid-30s, almost late 30s now. Awesome. Late 30s now.
Super talented guy. And so
Jing Di came from Beijing Wushu team.
Yep.
And he was here as a part of a tour that the whole Beijing team was doing shows and like promotional events here. And actually that was under the invitation of one of my teachers for Wushu named Sifu Eric Chen, was a large figure in bringing wushu over into the States. He would bring the wushu team over every few years and let them go to different events and check it out. So I remember that year, DX ended up staying in the States. Jingde tried for a little while to stay in the States too, but they wanted to go compete, see what they could do, show off a little bit. Yeah. I heard that there's a big rivalry when they're young between the two, and so when they got the chance to compete against each other, they did try to pull out all stops, and that's why you see them going nuts.
That's awesome.
They're really going for it. Right now, DX has been an athlete in Ka, and so has Jingde. Jingde was the original members of the show Ka. And like I mentioned before, got the chance to work with him. He's a really talented, amazing martial artist. Let me tell you, his 540 kick would be easily, like his whole hips would be 5 feet high or more.
Let's see if we can find a video of DX so people know who he is.
Yeah, Qidongxing, DX.
What? I don't know what to look up. DX martial arts?
That should come up. Go DX Wushu. Maybe the third one could work, right?
Yeah. The other one's at Nickelodeon.
DX is, he's still over there right now at Ka, so I got a chance to see him the other day, have a chit-chat.
So this is an old NASCA, I'd call him a legend at this point. When he competed, he
destroyed it.
Yeah, he made a huge impact.
Well, it's good because at this time, sport competitors were ready to see Chinese martial arts, and they're a little bit more open-minded, and it was time. It was time for these athletes to come and kind of show them what kind of skill level China was at the time.
Yeah, and so where would you say DX is ranked? Is if he were to go compete in China, like what's his relative ability level at? I guess.
Okay, well, first of all, DX and all the people we're talking about, their wushu is much better than my own. Wushu is a very specific sport. DX is a great athlete. However, as far as I understand, there's different games in China, first of all. Wushu has provincial, national, and then the all-China games. If you win grand champion for China, that means you went to the all-China games. You already made it through the entire season, and then you get a medal. So DX, I believe he won some provincial medals. He won a couple times on different levels, but he never made it to the all-China games champion, as far as I know.
Okay.
But Jingde has a medal. DX has some. But some of the tops, we'll talk about them later, they're the all-time greats. You can never top that.
Okay, let's talk about all-time great. Like, who do you have a request? I have your links right here. So, just tell me who, and I'll link them up.
Just so you know, because I knew that we were going on this topic, I did some digging around and asked my contacts. So I called 2 people from China. One of them is a graduate from the Beijing Sports University. He has a master's degree in martial arts in wushu.
Okay.
Yes, he had a master's degree for that.
Wow.
I had some stateside people, and I did a little, personal poll. All of us came up with the same answers.
Okay.
Number 1, Zhao Changjun. Zhao Changjun changed the landscape for wushu forever. He helped create what is known as the modern ditang trend with the Sifu, Panqing Fu. If you guys don't know what ditang is, we're going to pull up a video and show you one of the ditang athletes.
Now, you gotta excuse my ignorance because I don't know Mandarin
or my bad. Well,
Cantonese at all. What I'm looking at your Facebook links that you sent me. What's the first letter?
Long, long. Click that one.
Oh, long bao.
Yeah. Click that one.
Don't laugh at me.
It's okay. I worked hard for my Mandarin, so I gotta enjoy my skill. Okay.
I'm maxing out right now in my Mandarin.
So right now, this is a modern wushu ditang trend.
One of the greats.
This is not one of the people from our list of greats, but this is one of the more modern greats, and he's a fantastic athlete.
So you say modern. How old is this video? It looks pretty ancient.
That's because in China they didn't have all the best taping equipment back then. At least when it goes from a camera to VHS back to digital.
Okay, so what era is this? Like 90s? Is this?
I want to say this is early 90s.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, but based on the video quality, that sounds about right.
Okay, so modern ditang trend was created inspired off of old Kung Fu manuscript, which detailed that to practice to prepare yourself for throws, hits, and falls. The practitioners in the old days used to condition their bodies by creating techniques for falls. So basically, Zhao Changjun, together with his coach, because they wanted to go with the to the U.S. with the first Chinese wushu delegation, created a new style inspired by the old manuscript, which is the Ditang Chen.
So he has his own martial arts style.
Well, it became its own style, and now it's an officially recognized like wushu event in China. So how wushu is broken up in China is there's northern and there's southern. So Jingda is actually a southern wushu athlete, which encompasses a lot of the more like you would say hard-looking styles from the south of China. And wushu longfist, which what DX we were looking at earlier, he's practicing composite from the northern side of China. So wushu is a mixture of styles.
Sure.
Ditang is one of the specialty events in wushu competitions.
There's the deadfall.
Wally Faulkner, he just showed up a great video, 1996 Wushu demo team. So that was, one of my coach, Eric Chen, as well as Rick Jacobs, had a good hand in bringing that to life, bringing them all the way to the USA.
Let's check that out.
Yeah, he's on the Facebook thread. So you go 1996 Wushu demo team from China. He types, he did drop a link there. Scott, Greg, Zhao Changjun is an all-time great. He is amazing. He is fantastic.
Probably this one.
I suppose that'd be the same. Capital Classics from 1996. Let's pop that open. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Lone Worm Biao, 1990. Thank you, Valentine. Appreciate that. I figured it was the early 90s.
Valentine's logging in from Hong Kong right now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Shout out to Hong Kong He Jingde. He's got his program Wushu Stars over there right now. He's doing good. I think he just did the film League of Legends, or the new one coming out. Maybe it's Asura. He did some Chinese large film coming out. Oh. So actually, if you look at this group, in the back in the blue, that is He Jingde with the bowl cut hair.
This one or the other guy?
Yes. And in the front right, in the center, that is DX. That is young DX.
Right wow. There. Okay. All right.
In the red.
So we're all familiar with these athletes at this point.
Yeah. So like I said, they came for doing the U.S. Wushu tour to promote the art abroad.
Yeah.
And they visit different events and showcase their stuff.
That's awesome.
So later we saw some of them come back and go ahead and actually compete, not just perform.
So I'm just going to ask you like questions I've always wanted to know.
Go for it.
I notice in wushu styles, you guys, it seems like you practice a lot of different styles. Like you're not like you don't seem to focus just on one particular thing. Like sometimes you got like animal styles, and then there's the northern versions and southern versions, and there's all styles within those styles. Like how does that work out?
How did that come about?
Yeah, how did that come about?
Sure. So without getting too deep into it, because then we're going to talk only about that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of history involved with that question.
Sure.
Basically, wushu was created around the era 1949, and then started to come out in the 1950s. But in 1949, they started to piece it together by basically inviting the different Chinese masters from the north and the south to create a efficient way to practice and a more beautiful way to perform traditional Chinese martial arts. So, there's a lot of kind of negativity, also connotation from traditional stylists about that, because this happened just after the era of the Communist Revolution. And as the story goes, Mr. Chairman Mao came in and basically said, we don't want to have any esoteric elements of Kung Fu to live in the modern China. We want to recreate this to make it a beautiful sport, showing athleticism, showing healthy people, and really just show how strong and beautiful Chinese art and culture can be. So he wanted to get rid of all the like iron palm stuff, the stuff you see in those old Kung Fu movies where it's a little bit more messy.
Yeah.
And he's like, let's make it beautiful. So a lot of traditional martial artists were a little bit upset about that, but some masters did join and go into the task of creating a systemized approach to training. So with that being said, you have all these really diverse martial arts styles from a very diverse geographical landscape in China. So you got mountainous regions, you got flat regions, areas where there's snow, areas where there's more hot, like where the rice paddies are, and especially in the south. So then the martial arts already was evolved into a really highly specialized and different style. So for instance, right now we're watching jumping techniques. All these wushu athletes are basically showing northern, what's called jibin gong, basic skills. So earlier we were watching some kicks, some stances. Now we're going to the jumps. One thing to talk about is like the wushu stretch kicking, right? Which is the really unusual hand straight out, front stretch kick, cross stretch kick. That's actually called kick, but basically it's a preparation technique. It's called stretch kick because it's more like an exercise.
What they're doing right now.
Right now they're doing flips. What we're watching right now is some tornado kicks, a little bit of detons going on right now from Hajing Da. So we're watching the team go. So all these basics came from mainly northern styles of Kung Fu. And the animal and imitation styles, basically, they wanted to be able to compete on the new standardized format. So what they had to do was create specialty divisions that weren't just northern and southern. And that's where all your animal styles came about, because they came in from different parts of China.
Yeah.
Eventually wanted to join the national competition to be recognized. Everyone wants recognition for the art, what they practice on a competitive sense.
So when you're competing in the soft style division and you're blending all of these different styles, northern, southern, crane, monkey, dragon, I mean, all of these different things together in one division, which is how it happens in my world. I'm sure it's broken off in China. They probably have like this animal style division and like this northern style division.
Exactly. So, for instance, I went to the traditional wushu games to compete myself in that competition. So we say in the States, maybe soft style, you would get soft style because that's what they used to call it, right?
Right.
Soft style is the competition in open martial arts. Maybe you have 5 people if you're lucky. Like if you're lucky, you have 5 people at one competition.
Yeah.
In China for the 2006 traditional worlds, which I went, there was about 80 to 100,000 competitors.
What?
Yeah. So you imagine not everyone's going to be doing the same staff, saying this or that. So they actually break it down by weapon. So, for instance, staff has its own event, spear has its own event,
wow.
has its own event. Everything is specialized. All the traditional categories are broken up because, how else you gonna watch 200 or 1,000 people and try to find the top for the day?
That's amazing. I mean, okay, did you say 80,000
competitors? Yeah.
On the low side?
Yeah, it might have been more than that.
Yeah, okay, so let's just say 80. 80,000 competitors in one tournament.
Well, it takes like a week to do, but yeah.
Well, okay, but still, that's more than like all of the competitors combined of NASCA for like the last 10 years. I mean, plus. I mean,
yeah.
It's
incredible. It's
super incredible, and it's super like I don't know why, but America is just not exposed to this stuff. So when Chinese athletes come to America, it's like watching aliens. Like we just don't know what is going on and how is this possible and how are these people so talented?
What is going on here?
We've never seen this. It's fascinating. I mean, I remember when you and your team went to train with the Shaolin monks, and you went to that one school with and they did a demo for you, and it was like it was 5,000.
It's Tago, yeah.
5,000 person demo. I'll see if I can find that video because that was absolutely nuts.
Real quick, shout out to Natalie. Natalie is an athlete from Czech Republic. She's jumped in. Yan Yi, he's a former Shaolin Temple warrior. He's got his own school in California now. Yan Yi, nice to see you.
What's up, guys? Thanks for watching Live with Wolfman.
You're definitely right. You're definitely right. Over 1 billion people, and when well organized, it's different. I agree. It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, if you just think about it from a numbers standpoint, America has 300 million people. So China alone has a population triple, quadruple that.
Yep.
Plus, the culture has been rooted in martial arts for thousands of years. So we're just still trying to figure out what the heck's going on over in Asia.
So, funny story about numbers. So one time when I was doing a TV show for Shaolin Temple and some cable channel in China, I looked and the audience they had in the actual station was kind of small. So I was like, okay, this is not too serious, not too big. But I was like, how many people are going to be watching this show tonight? Because it was a live broadcast. And they're like, should be over 300 million people today.
Oh my God.
I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, that's the whole U.S. population. Like, just to give a numbers game. So yeah, they definitely have a lot of people involved. Lulu,
Wow.
hello, Lulu. Anyways, so
I want to
well,
find your the video from you guys when you went to China.
if you jump to the links that I sent you,
Yep.
they have those videos in there.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Which one should I look for? Shaolin.
The Tago, something like that, or Dragon Girls. Let's watch Dragon Girls.
Okay. Watch Dragon Girls trailer. What is this one?
So to give you a little prep before you watch it, this school, Tago, is one of the largest martial arts schools in all of China. It's split into 2 campuses. It is a full-time, live-in, like boot camp style place. I did visit it when I was young and looking to train, but for me it was too big. I want a little more personalized approach. But this is the reality. This documentary is the reality and life of training, specifically following the girls' team in Tago.
And how big did you say the population of the school is?
Well, this one you're going to see on the subs. Basically, it's over 30,000.
Oh, there it is. 35,000 students.
Trainers and teachers.
That,
there you go.
There it is. That's what I saw. You guys saw.
560,000 square meters.
And what was the experience like when you're watching a demo for you? 5,000 people doing a demo for you.
Yeah, that was really cool. We had to set that up. Shout out to again Yang Yi because he actually helped hook it up. I told him I wanted to send my students to China and really give them an idea of how hard they train and also the discipline that's involved.
Yeah.
So I said I need to take him to Tago to check it out, and he actually hooked it up so that we were hanging out with the president of the school, and he arranged an amazing performance for us just to give us an idea the power of Chinese Kung Fu.
It's very powerful.
But check out that trailer, that film. I believe you can catch it on YouTube, Dragon Girls.
Cool.
And it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I'll have to check that. I'm going to check that movie out. That's awesome. When you guys went there and I saw that, I was just floored. It just made me realize again, I was like, what a small little world I live in. You know, I got 30 people on my live stream right now, which is like...
Let's go to China. Let's go to China.
Dude,
we see it.
Let's go to China. I'm a little worried about the food there, but let's go.
I'll keep you safe. I know where to go.
I don't want to eat any scorpions, okay?
Oh, that's my favorite.
Have you really had scorpions?
You know, I ate cockroaches, but I haven't ate scorpion.
Oh, man. I bet
it was a delicacy. I had to eat it. It was on the table with a bunch of stuff, and they're like, man. Please try, please. Okay, so.
Was it covered in chocolate at least or something?
No, sir.
Gross. All right. Let's watch another clip. Anything you got? I know we got a list of links here. Anything you want to talk about? I'll leave it open to you.
Real fast, because I know we got people like Mickey Lee's gonna jump in later and be like, "What about the internal? What about that?"
Okay.
So, of course, wushu doesn't just have the northern and southern. It also has internal, also has a sport fighting competition, which not a lot of people know about. So as children, so we just watched the trailer, Dragon Girls. These people have to train wushu forms, traditional kung fu, and then fighting. The fighting techniques are typically sanda. They also have the option, depending on the school, to start training internal martial arts. In wushu competition, they pretty much just specialize to do tai chi, the tai chi, you know. And same like the northern southern styles of wushu, they mixed a lot of the prominent internal martial arts and tai chi styles to create the modern version that we have today. So there's also a whole huge just like branch of internal martial arts, which is actually considered wugong, martial skills, which that's its own category. And there's yangshen gong, which is health skills. So sometimes when people in sport karate get to watch some types of kung fu performers, some type of tai chi performers, they say, oh, that doesn't look like it's good for a fight. It doesn't look like it's good for this.
Sure.
It's never meant for that. So if you look at how it's written, for instance, we're going to talk animal styles real fast.
Okay.
Tang Lang Chen, because it has the character Chen at the end, connotates fist or meaning like a martial arts skill. It's something that can be used for martial arts. When you're using Ho Chen, there's also like a monkey style, which wushu has been more performance, but originally it was a kung fu. Oh, so this is Tai No. Ty used to work out at our school a little bit, and he is a student of my good friend
You
Rick
know
Jacobs.
this guy. I just went on YouTube and I just typed in monkey style.
Well, sir, I know quite a lot in the community, a lot of people in the community, because I've been fortunate enough to meet some amazingly talented people.
Apparently.
But yeah, 螳螂拳, 对, Valentin is right, 螳螂拳. But so you have like hamagong, which is frog skills. People think that frog is for fighting, but actually it evolved from a qigong practice, like a health exercise practice.
Okay.
So I mean, it's just a whole lot of information we could get into, but we're not going to get that far into it today.
Yeah, it's like trying to discuss the history of the world. I mean,
yeah, it's a lot. Well, martial arts help change the world, right? And change the cultural landscape of who we are.
Absolutely.
Paulie Zink, amazing athlete, and really brought Tai Chi Pet Choir to the forefront. He was an early. I'm reading this name from Scott Gregg. Scott Gregg drops the name Paulie Zink. He's an incredible Chinese martial arts athlete, and I think that he is definitely one of the all-time greats in the U.S. If you want to look him up, Paulie Zink, you're going to have your mind blown for some crazy monkey madness here. He also was behind the creation of Yin Yoga, if you guys didn't know that.
Oh, Scott, you've dropped this guy in my threads before. This is what I was trying to find.
Let me tell you, he's amazing. Let's check it out. This is like old school, okay? Actually, you know what? This is great, but can we go back? I'm going to pick another video.
Yeah, no problem.
Let's go back.
What's up?
All right. Monkey Staff Tribute. Just click that one.
Okay. So, all right, let's just focus on the monkey style for a second. So as people are about to watch, like, monkey style, like, you really imitate how monkeys run around and act. Like,
sure.
Okay, so somebody's going to come at me and say, well, how am I going to use that in a fight? What's your response?
All right. Well, first of all, if they're going to just look at the modern way of doing it, of course, there's going to be not much. I'm sorry to throw someone under the bus, but there's not much fighting application in modern monkey style.
Okay.
How monkey style evolves, so look at how old school this is. This is the early days of Kung Fu coming into the forefront. But really fast, monkey style actually has a legend behind it, as most of the martial arts that are from China do, because they're so long in their history.
Yeah.
Monkey style, basically the founder was a Kung Fu expert already, who was roughing people up a little bit. Well, for whatever reason, he got thrown into jail. So he got thrown into a prison, and the prison was near a bamboo forest where there was monkeys. So basically, the practitioner who was stuck there for however long amount of time got to look and see the monkeys interact on a day-to-day basis. So because out of boredom, that was the only entertainment things he had to watch. From that, he saw the different characteristics, different personalities of different monkeys within that tribe, within that group, and he started to evolve and modify his martial arts skills to reflect the kind of like the reactive skills of the monkey. So I'm a little bit limited in my depth of knowledge on that story, but I will say that he was inspired by different characters within the tribe. So he created like Lost Monkey, Wooden Monkey, and they all have different things. Like one is more deceptive, one is more aggressive, and that eventually became its own deal.
It's super interesting.
Yeah, into its own martial arts. So
that's
as
crazy.
Wushu came about, the Chinese opera influenced it greatly. So a lot of the tumbling techniques of Wushu, you're watching right now, Master Paulie Zink, he does know traditional monkey, but this is also, a modified, not saying his routine would be modified, it's a little rude to say, but what I mean is it's been influenced over the years by different elements of Chinese culture.
Yeah. Okay, just rewind.
That was crazy. Wasn't that crazy?
It was absolutely nuts. Drop the floating floaty stuff. Okay, where does he do that? What is going on here?
What is going on here?
What is this?
But realistically, he's just showing off that he's good at this basic skill.
Yes.
This is the basic skill of Chinese Kung Fu. They say if you don't have any leg skill, you don't have any Kung Fu.
Awesome.
So Master Paulie Zink has the good mixture of flexibility, elastic legs, and also strength. That's why he showed the first skill, the staff behind the back with the legs, and then he's showing also the balance where he has the stability to hold himself up with one leg.
Awesome. Do you think somebody could take a form like that and go compete like in the blended division where like any kung fu goes, and like have a fair shot? Like, how do you judge that when you compare it to another style? Is that possible?
Well, that's why in China and typically for the larger wushu competitions, they would put it in its own category.
Yeah.
So wushu was designed, this is the sport version of standardized wushu, was designed to find the weakness of each athlete and kind of exploit that, like put on the table like, okay, you could jump high, but are you flexible?
Interesting.
You can hit hard, but are you fast? So they try to find a way to make the most efficient performance athlete across the broad spectrum. Because as you know, if you make a creative form, if there's no standardization, it's easy to hide behind the choreography which you make, right?
Sure.
I've done that for sure. You choose what you want to do, but wushu says, nope, we're going to pick all these difficult things and put it together.
So do they have requirements when they judge? It's like we're looking for how flexible you are. Like they give specific scores, or
they give specific scores. It's more close to the gymnastics scoring method of gymnastics.
Okay.
You know, gymnastics scoring method of gymnastics.
Sure.
Olympic level style gymnastics. So basically, they're looking at the overall presentation. They're looking for certain technical difficulties. In some competitions, the styles change, the rules change. Looking for balances, looking for a certain number of stances. Basically, every few years, the rules have changed because wushu's been on a quest to try to get himself into the Olympics. And that was supposed to happen. They really thought it was going to happen during the 2008 Beijing Games, but it didn't go through. So now the art has been pushed to change so much.
Yeah.
A lot of the really like wushu diehard fans, they feel like now it's its own new thing, and a lot of us don't really like it.
Yeah.
A lot of the old timers, and even we mentioned earlier, Jia Chongjun, he was at a competition, and I heard him say, "I thought I knew what wushu was, and then I watched today, and it looks like I have no idea."
Yeah.
So, as you know, with the times, things push into certain directions, but some of them aren't really happy because now you lost a lot of this. Like we just watched Sifu Poly's Inc. You lose a lot of these unique treasures of Chinese martial arts.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, karate will find, you'll find the same thing. You lose. Yesterday I had Jeff Doss on the show, and we were talking about just kicks, like, straight up side kicks and standing kicks where you just pump out a ton of them at once. And like that particular art form has totally been lost. Well, not totally, but very much been lost. It was definitely like a period of time, and then it fades away because things change, rules change. So one thing...
No more Mortal Kombat theme song, so people stop doing it.
Well,
so
that's
much.
great. I'm glad that's dead. But something interesting. You're like so for wushu, they try to find the flaws. Like, where is your flaws? I feel like in American hardstyle, and again, I'm always going to be referencing back to that because that's where I come from.
Sure.
They don't do that. They try to find what you're good at, and so people will go out there that are really good at just one or two things, and they get exceptionally good at that, and then that's why they win. Maybe they're like the best at manipulating a weapon, but they can't do a backflip. Or maybe all they can do is backflips, but they can't do a side kick. But they can beat everyone else because they excel at like the one, and they don't have that well-roundedness. And I do think that the sport in general, and I do not ever pick on athletes. As I've said on the show, I said it before the show started, but I don't hate the player. I hate the game, right? So I'm not going to ever like call out an athlete, but the sport in general, it would be nice if there was a more well-rounded rule structure that really encouraged athletes to be able to have, basic traditional kicks and acrobatics and the stances and the punches. It sounds like wushu's trying really hard to structure their rule system in that way. I wonder if there's a way we could like take a page from that.
I mean, I'm sure it is, but you don't also want to lose the creativity, I think. Now sport karate has really changed a lot. I seen Mickey Lee write something in open tournaments. There are tons of judges looking for mistakes, which is why they don't throw a side kick anymore in extreme divisions, because those judges are knowledgeable enough to nitpick those. Now, Mickey, I would agree with you. However, we're talking about bringing in other sides of martial arts into it. When you start getting really diverse, how are we really going to judge a capoeirista if he comes to open? Unless you got someone on the panel there, someone a little more knowledgeable, it's not going to happen.
Right.
There is fundamental, kind of like universal truths of martial arts, like body mechanics, things that we all look for, but there's also a lot of things that if you've never been exposed to, you don't know. And
Yeah.
we know that in the fighting game, that's why jiu-jitsu came in and was so effective originally, because no one knew. Now you have people starting to be able to defend themselves properly against those techniques because education. So I'm going to talk about, you probably had the experience bringing Tai Chi. At first, people don't really know. And to be honest, sometimes people will score high just because they don't want to show that they don't know, you know? And they're like, oh, the guy next to me scored high, so I'm going to score high. Or the guy next to me scored low, so I'm going to score low. So real fast, another point I want to make, something that happened to our school with open competitions, and not throwing it under the bus. One of my students was doing a double sword. He had the technique jump inside fall. Most of Chinese martial arts would know it. It's a move that's used a lot, jump inside fall. And the judge, I hear him like whispering to another judge, like I'm back there, you know, just watching. Yeah. And goes, "Oh, what a great recovery!" Because the student did the jump inside fall, he kicked up and kept going, and the judge thought he straight up fell down.
Right. And that's the one, for everybody that's tuning in that's not familiar, that's the one where you like literally fall on your side on the floor on purpose.
It's a double leg, but then you fall on your side.
Yeah. And what's the point of that? I know people wonder that. Like, why do you do that?
Well, there's a lot of different reasons. So, for instance, a lot of these acrobatic falls originally came about from jump kicks, kind of like they say Taekwondo, you try to jump kick someone off a high, like a horse or something.
Yeah.
But realistically, it's for entertainment performance, but also body conditioning. So if you look at a jump inside fall, that comes from more the side of Chinese martial arts from Shuai Jiao, which is like judo. So jump inside fall is the same as doing a judo, I forget the term, where they do the jump to the side and fall down after a throw. Or even in Aikido, you learn that off the Kodo-Gaiji technique, off the wrist locking technique, you would do the jump inside fall.
So it's just a demonstration of showing that you're able to...
The skill set. You're able to recover. You're able to, execute, like jump, front flip, fall. You control the technique. You disperse your energy correctly.
Yeah.
You know, these are fundamental skills that are in all the martial arts at some level. Maybe some, like judo, requires a lot more falls than karate does. But, Chinese martial arts, again, they try to take, especially wushu, take the pieces of all the puzzle and throw one here and one there. So sometimes it looks completely like surprising, like, why did that person run and just do a fall on their back, you know?
Right. But in a martial perspective, it has a total utility to it. It's not like you're ever going to throw a kick and fall on purpose in a fight, but the fact that you're training your form in that routine, then if it ever came to a situation where you were fighting and you fell, you know how to fall because you put it into your training.
Exactly. So let's say you're doing a fight, there is a good chance that you might fall down, right?
Happens.
So they're going to throw that in the routine sometimes.
Which is a different way to think about training than karate. It's like you fall, you lose. You weren't supposed to fall. Why did you do that? But
right. We want to get back up.
Yeah. Awesome. If there's any other, I like Mickey Lee's input here. I know Mickey has a lot to say on the subject, so he's got another comment here. Says this is the YouTube generation. The judges should have a general working knowledge of many styles. The promoter should be the one bringing in a diverse panel of judges. Just saying. So,
yeah. I think. I'm gonna jump on that.
Yeah.
A little bit out of the sport community, not sport karate community, but I say I agree with you. However, it's hard when you all talk about volunteers. This is a difficult thing to do because people are donating their time to help further the sport and to get the competition going. Sometimes, sitting down judging for hours and hours and hours. And
they're probably running a school. They got to close down their school, find instructors.
Yeah. They did a lot. So whether or not they can know every style, the fact is they're able to at least push the competition forward. Yeah. I think it's going to be really hard to find that many people and educate them. I personally do wish that there was a cool system, Mickey Lee, where maybe they have to take a little test to judge on like the NASCA League. Like, hey, check out this technique. Can you recognize this or that? That'd be awesome. But that's up to the promoters. So
it's kind of doing a good job,
in my opinion, and doing the best that they can with the volunteers. And it's been pretty amazing to see that they've been able to keep these competitions going for so many years and even decades.
Well, what's the format in China? Like, you got the 80,000 competitors. Are those judges getting paid? Are they certified? How does that work?
Well, in China, yes, you can get paid to judge, and you do have to get certification, especially at the different levels. So like let's say Tago, the video we just watched with all the students, 35,000 students.
Yeah.
They will do like class judging just like we would do at a school. And we say, okay, everyone, let's do a practice competition right now. And then from each class, they would start to send their best ones to the next level, even before they get the chance to get out of the school. So imagine out of 35,000 people, how many times they do practice competitions before they're even allowed to compete outside. Then once you go compete outside, those people have a little more education. First of all, most of them grew up doing martial arts their whole life.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned earlier, my buddy, he actually had to get a master's degree in martial arts, like go to college after he did martial arts his whole life and study for 4 to 7 years to get the degree. And now he can judge at the highest level of wushu competition.
So what lessons do you think Americans can take? Like, how can we do what's working in China?
Well, I mean, what's working in, educate me what's working on with the karate leagues. I'm talking like the traditional leagues. And also Taekwondo. How is their judging evolved, especially Olympic Taekwondo? Do we know much about that method? I'm a little uneducated on that.
I'm uneducated on how Taekwondo, like the stuff you see in the Olympics. I don't know. I don't know how that works.
So what I feel is that I know for boxing, because our school had a really large boxing community. We had a 7-time world champion coach. Like he made 7 world boxing champs. They had to go through just very like specific and kind of strenuous criteria, like judging, to get an idea and a handle on what they're looking at specifically for that art. The difficulty is you have an open format where anybody can walk in the door, and you got to try to know everything. That's kind of hard. It's going to be complicated.
Yeah.
You cannot know. For instance, one of my students before, he came from a traditional Taekwondo school. He finished one of the forms and he wouldn't move. And I was like, okay. Like his form was great and he didn't move.
Yeah.
And his sibling goes to me and says, you have to say this. And then he'll like stop. He'll stop standing still. And that was specific for their school, but literally he just translated that assuming that I knew. Right, I didn't know. You know what I mean?
Well, because he grows up in his bubble and he thinks that that's how all martial arts is, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like, fine, but we all could use a little more education. I've been growing up, like I said, 3rd-generation martial artist, 20-something years, almost 30 years now. And when I go to different countries, I try to see, but there's always something that you're going to learn.
Yeah.
Always something you're going to learn.
So, Philip, I think with that, we're gonna wrap up the show. I allow myself exactly.
No Lohan Yuan, no nothing.
I know we can go all day, right? It goes by fast, but I only allow myself 1 hour a day. I want to keep this show very consistent. But we could probably talk about this subject for like a week straight and not even scratch the surface. So I just want to thank you for being on the show today and just talking, because like I learned a lot. And I'm always learning a lot. Every time I get a chance to talk to you, you always like open my mind. I remember we sat down one time and you just told me the definition of kung fu or gong-fu, and I was like, oh, that's like that. As if you guys missed it at the top of the show, correct me if I'm wrong, but gong-fu isn't even necessarily a martial arts style. It's a mental philosophy. It's like the art of practicing with
life.
Yeah. So you can be
the art of philosophical wisdom.
Yeah. So you can be a kung fu master of cooking. I can be a kung fu master of live streams someday once I figure out how to not have my guest muted.
There you go. That's the first step.
Yeah.
To being sifu. Yeah. Okay. Well, great. Thank you guys very much.
Yep.
Hey, appreciation to everyone who tuned in. If you guys have any questions and you want to do some follow-ups, just drop the questions in the thread below. I'll be really excited to jump on again with the Wolfman.
Yes, sir. And before we go, I'm going to do a quick plug for you. Anybody that wants to learn from Philip, Hyper created this really amazing program. It's called Hyper Kung Fu. You can go to hyperkungfu.com. Just enter in your information. Check it out. There's a bunch of DVDs you can purchase, where Philip will teach you through some of the basics of Northern style, Southern style, long staff, broadsword, and then... or you can even, if you have the Hyper Training Lab app, it's a free app, you can actually just in-app purchase the apps and watch the videos right there on your phone or iPad or whatever. So just want to give you that plug, sir, because why not?
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
See you guys.